Hey everybody, welcome to the very first episode of the Mobile Blast podcast. We're just a couple of tech geeks here who've been blogging and reviewing devices for about 7 years now. We've been toying around with the idea of a podcast, and last week we just decided let's do this thing and see what happens. So here we are, October 15th, 2015, ready to kick it off. Our ultimate goal here is to help you learn more about mobile tech before you spend your hard-earned cash. You can ask us anything you want to about mobile tech. We'll do our best to answer it here on the air and give you the answers you need to get you that device that meets your custom needs. So this podcast is going to be chock full of opinions on news and rumors you probably read elsewhere, and we'll also be sharing our experienced knowledge of the devices themselves. But to start it off, let's hand it over to Matt. Matt, can you tell us how the viewers can participate in the Q&A?
Sure. Okay, guys, so if you're not familiar with what we're doing here, this is a Google Hangout, and we're doing the podcasting feature on here. On the right-hand side of your screen, you should see a Q&A section. If you want to ask us any questions during the podcast, you can drop a question there. We'll be monitoring those questions, and we'll be answering those throughout the show. You can also vote for other questions, so they can push it up to the top. The most voted questions will get answered first. If you don't want to post there, you can also just shoot us a quick email. We're also monitoring that. The email address is mobileblast@baldypal.com, and we'll read those questions and answer those on air.
Cool.
And so just to get things going, I'll go ahead and introduce myself. I'm Matthew Gissentanna. I've been reviewing devices with Gadget University for about 7 years now. Most of my content is on YouTube. I've also written for a couple other sites as well. I like all kinds of devices. I've been reviewing Apple, Android, Microsoft, Apple computers as well, and been toying around with this idea, of course, with doing a podcast. So I wanted to join in with Adam on this.
Hey guys, go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I'm Devin Derrickson, tonight's guest, and a long-time friend of both Adam Jones and Matthew Gissentanna, a former writer of Gadget University, Matt's tech blog, a former hardcore consumer of technology, winding it down a little bit, family expansion. So I'm here to have a little fun, support BaldyPal, support his dream, if you will. So
Appreciate it, guys. Appreciate it. I'm glad y'all were able to, come out and do the podcast with me. My name is Adam Jones, aka BaldyPal, probably pretty much across the entire internet. I'm the single sole writer for AndroidAnthem.com. So I've been reviewing devices for 2 years now, and a couple of partners have been able to help me out with that, and I appreciate them. It was actually Devin and Matt that got me started in this. My first device was the Droid X, and from there it's gone uphill. So my preferred OS is Android, though I've owned an Apple device. We'll stop right there because I've gotten rid of it since then. And then my computer runs Windows, but I haven't bought a Windows phone. After seeing the Microsoft event a couple of weeks ago, though, I'm thinking about it. And then as far as, let's see, I'm on YouTube too, as well. You can find me there under BaldyPal12 and on Twitter @BaldyPal. So let's get the conversation rolling, guys. Let's talk about some of those recent devices we've either bought, reviewed, or anything like that. So Matt, why don't you take us off?
Okay. I'll start with my most recent tech purchase, and that was the Motorola 360, the second generation. Although I am an iPhone user, I was really curious to see how Android Wear worked in comparison to the Apple Watch. So I decided to pick one up for a few days and see how it works and decide if I want to stick with it over the Apple Watch. And prior to that, I bought the 6S Plus. I'm not ashamed to admit I do buy the new iPhone every single year.
You stand in line?
No. I didn't stand in line this year. I did last year.
There wasn't a lot of affirmation there. I think he stands in line every time.
I think he stands in line.
I camped out last year. But no, this year I actually did the order online and pre-order online and let it come to my house, so it was much smoother. I guess nobody really wanted an iPhone this generation. But that's pretty much it. Oh, well, go ahead.
Is the how's the 360 working with the iPhone?
It's pretty much a strictly notifications. Apple has all their stuff locked down from access from third-party apps like Google. So the only thing this watch can really do on my phone is it can access my music controls, it can access my phone, it can access my calendar. So, and every notification that I get on my phone, I can get it on my watch. I just can't do any actions with it. Like with Android, I can actually do actions like reply to an email or text message or do the whole emoji drawing thing. Yeah, I can't do that with the iPhone.
See, and these are things, personally, this is informative for me because I actually wanted to wait on that second round of smartwatches before I made any purchase, right? I never trust that first generation of technology. Matt can attest to that because I had a big problem with, exactly, buying things at first, then I have buyer's remorse, and then, I'm selling later.
That Dell Streak 5, I still remember that.
Exactly, yeah, Dell Streak.
How long did you even keep that device?
I might have had it for a year.
I thought it was like a week.
The phone was literally falling apart. I've never seen a battery door start bending off of the phone. It's like an orange peel. It was just slowly peeling back off of the phone, so I had to get rid of it.
That's odd because Dell has actually gotten a lot better with their hardware here lately. I've touched the Dell tablets in the store here recently, and the build quality is beautiful.
They're new. From what I know about Dell is for a time period, I don't know from what year to what year, but they were being publicly traded and they had a board of directors that was pushing for higher sales. So a lot of their materials started dropping in their products. They're trying to put products in Walmart and Best Buy and now they're getting away from all that because if you guys remember Dell from probably at least maybe 10 years ago, they were like the high-end business consumer laptop, and then they kind of started showing up in Walmart for $295 and $349, and that's because they wanted more sales, which it was working for them because people were saying, "Oh, Dell, it's a great brand. It's only $300." They would go buy it, but then they realized it wasn't the same quality, and then they started bringing the brand down. But recently, with the XPS 13 and the 15 that they just came out with, the 15 is nice. It's like a 4K screen and solid state drive, built-in graphics, and you get all that for like $1,400.
And that's that's the thing that's always kept Dell above water, because if you start looking at like the Alienwares and everything, those really high-end desktops, that's what kept them afloat. But as far as business is concerned, they kind of did what Chevy's doing with the fleet model of their cars. They're like, okay, our business line is really starting to cut back in sales, so let's just start flooding the market with it. But it was too late at that point. So
I actually wish Dell would make another phone. That would be interesting.
Like the Dell. Then you do like a Dell Streak 2015. I think I was the only person in the world that owned that phone.
Well, the tablet hardware, if they put that into a phone, I definitely think there's potential.
Are you talking about that Dell tablet that's really, really thin?
Yeah, and it's got 2 cameras.
Yeah, that is a nice. Man, they can do it. If they did a phone that thin.
Yeah.
That'd be
I
nice.
mean, was it Sony that has those really thin? I think Sony the Xperia's tablets. Now those are thin.
Yeah.
Now the phones haven't gotten that thin yet, but those Sony Xperia tablets, those are nice and paper thin almost. I mean, I think the only thing keeping them from getting any thinner is literally the thickness of the battery that's in them.
Yeah.
No. Speaking of tablet, to this day, the most underrated tablet still in the last, I say 5 years, I'll say 3 years, is the Asus Transformer. Nobody talks about that tablet anymore. It was the first of its kind. I mean, you owned it, didn't you?
Yeah. Is it on the market anymore?
I don't know. I stopped looking for it.
I think I had the 3rd generation of the Transformer.
Yeah, that thing I loved it. If you hit somebody with it, you'll kill them. It was a real good build quality.
Now I didn't have I had the plastic back one, not the one with the metal back, and if you kind of grab both sides and twist it a little bit, it would creak.
Yeah.
But the metal one wouldn't do that. But the plastic one made the movement noises and stuff like that. But it lasted forever.
Yeah.
I did accidentally brick it simply by trying to I didn't root it or anything. I was just trying to install flash one of their updates that didn't get pushed to my tablet at all. So I downloaded it and installed it and never booted back up. But,
I think, Adam, you've probably bricked more phones than anybody I've ever
don't go
known.
there. Don't go there. I bricked 2, but I fixed them both times. So technically, it wasn't a brick.
Does anybody have Odin on their laptop? We're at work, Adam. I don't think we have Odin on anything.
Man, that was back with the Droid X, dude.
Yep. So speaking of Droid X, you remember I was talking to Matt. I was talking to Adam about this the other day. You remember the Droid X leak?
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, that was exciting, man. That was exciting.
That's what put GadgetU.net on.
Yep.
I think up until I closed the domain, I was still getting like hits on that link.
Yep.
I guess somebody made a bot somewhere that was like just hitting my site, and I was like, why are people still looking at this? Why are they still looking at this?
It was for the fingernails. If anybody remembers that picture, it was the fingernails.
Devin, hold up your hand. Devin, hold up your hand.
Oh my gosh.
Not like that anymore. The Nintendo fingers, because I chew them. It's like I'm pushing a button real hard. So
Because I chew them.
Because I chew them. Yeah, exactly. So what devices are y'all using? Go ahead.
Oh, I picked this up. This is last year's 360, and I picked it up because right before this year's was announced, they lowered the price on the one with the metal band, which was $280. They lowered the price to $150.
Yeah.
So I don't like the flat tire. I don't like the flat tire.
When you use it, you won't even notice it's there because
I notice it.
Okay, so hold on a sec. All right, so you see it there because it's on a white background, but if you think about it, there's no room for additional line of text right there. And I've been able to tweak the settings perfectly to where I can get this old Texas Instrument OMAP processor to last me with ambient screen on all day long, and I go to bed and it's like right now it's got 14% still, and I'll be in bed in the next 2 hours. That'll last me 4 more hours, I promise you. Yeah. But at the same time, because I was disappointed, honestly, in the size of the Moto X 2015 version, I know I was yelling at both of y'all about how big it was getting. I went ahead and picked up last year's Moto X.
I still like that phone.
But now I'm really mad. What, last year's?
Yeah, I like it. I like that style phone.
Well, I went with the leather.
It's a nice, yeah.
I love
it's a nice phone.
But I'm mad now until Motorola comes back and corrects some of the stuff they were talking about last week, where they're not going to update the 2014 Moto X with Marshmallow, because I'm on Verizon. Now I need to have a pet peeve. I'm going to just get it off my shoulders right now. I've listened to other bloggers talk about how if you didn't want to worry about updates because of your carrier or whatnot, you should have gotten the Pure Edition. Well, I just want to go on record and state, if you are on Verizon and you needed a Verizon-enabled Moto X 2014, you can't get last year's Pure Edition. It didn't work everywhere.
Wow.
It only worked with GSM. So
that's why I prefer T-Mobile. We don't have these kind of problems unless you own a Galaxy. Aside from that,
the fact that you just picked up that phone and just called it a Galaxy just makes me even more mad.
Yeah.
Is that an Android, a Droid, or a Galaxy?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're right. Is that a Droid? Is that a Kleenex? No, this is just a paper towel.
So tell us about it. What do you like about it, Devin? Why did you choose that one over all the others you had to choose from?
To be 100%, so I didn't do my research. I thought I can find an AOSP ROM for this phone, right? So I looked at, okay, I really love the hardware. I love the camera. All right, I'll buy the phone. Let me go find an AOSP ROM. It doesn't exist. So I don't have buyer's remorse because right now I'm using the material theme, which I really like, But aside from that, now it's just camera and hardware and just the speed of the phone altogether. So I'm happy with it. I really wish I would have got a Nexus. I wish I would have waited and got a Nexus 6P. It would have been months later, but I wish I would have done that to get that pure experience all over again. So
what about the battery life?
For me, it's great because as most people know, because I don't answer text messages too often, I'm not around my phone a lot, so it lasts me pretty much all day. But there's been cases where I'll go on a binge just using my phone. I can give it a good 12 hours, 12 to 18 before the battery is gone.
That's decent.
So, but I'm happy with it. Yeah, I'm happy with it so far. It's funny, but I probably won't buy another Galaxy because I hate TouchWiz.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I cannot stand TouchWiz. It's a memory hog. I don't like it.
You know what gets me about the Galaxy phones? The hardware button and the capacitive keys.
It moves. If you take your finger and jiggle back and forth, that button moves back and forth.
Yeah.
It bothers me. So, but it is what it is.
I don't like Samsung products for the simple fact of I may be an Apple fanboy, but when I come to Android, I want Android. I want pure Android. I want Motorola style Android. Maybe even HTC style Android. And even LG too. They're doing a good job with Android. But then it's like Samsung tries to be Apple and on an Android phone. Like an
Android platform, exactly.
Yeah, they force you into all these different services. Like I literally signed into the 6S Edge Plus, and it was like, let me get your Samsung account, let me get your Google account, let me get your the music Milk account. It was like just too much stuff, and all I could think was that let's just say I really love this phone, and I started buying into this ecosystem. It's only Samsung. It's not the Google Play Store. It's not something I could use on another Android phone. It's just weird, man.
That is one of my complaints. Now that I'm thinking about it, I don't like when I'm on an Android phone and I turn it on, I recognize what the message icon looks like. Hit it and then boom, right? I didn't like the fact that when I hit the message icon, it asked me, hey, do you want to use this Samsung version of the one that you're actually trying to get into? I'm like, no, because that's not what I asked for. I want the Android one.
That's not what I touched.
That's not what I touched, So you get a lot of the apps that Android provides, like the File Explorer, the music apps, photos. Samsung tries to push their version of it, and it's just, for one, they're garbage. I'm just going to say it. I apologize. Those apps are garbage.
Devin, was that the Note 5 or the S6?
This is the S6.
Okay.
Yeah.
We have a question on the side panel.
For the Note 5?
No, somebody asked a question if you were that was the S6 or the Note 5.
Oh yeah. This is the S6. Beautiful phone. I love it.
You love it. You just said. I'm just playing.
I'm sorry. I love the hardware. I love the experience outside of all of the S6 stuff.
Gotcha.
I want to dive in and give my quick opinion real quick about the Samsung apps you were just talking about, Devin. When it comes to Google apps or Google services versus Samsung apps and services, when you use their phone, you lose a lot of the reason why you bought their phone.
Correct.
For instance, if you had gotten the Edge version of that S6, okay? You can't put any of Google's you can't use Google's apps to quick message someone from this quick Edge side panel. Now, you can add Google Apps down the Edge via the settings of the Edge settings, but it's gotten complicated now. Instead of just touching it from the home screen, which is usually where you're going to have the bottom, the bottom apps, you got to swipe twice, then you got to find the app to open it. Samsung has not won it over for me, and LG is starting to follow suit with Samsung as far as I'm concerned with their OS look. Matt, you were saying something about LG, how I think you said that you were you felt like you were more in their camp than you were in Samsung's camp.
I am, only because I like what they've done with the hardware wise, like with the Edge. With the
back buttons.
Like the power button and the sleep button being on the back. I like some of their hardware a lot better than Samsung. Then they had the phone that was like you could scratch the back of it and it would like self heal. It was the one that was bent.
Yep.
Then the cameras are really good, and then like the LG and Samsung have the best screens, and their phones have the best screens, and I find it funny that they have the best TVs too. And it just seems like every time they come out with a phone, they're just battling back and forth who can come up with the best display. And LG by far has the best displays on a smartphone. Maybe the Note 5 is up there because of the size, but LG screens are beautiful.
It's kind of funny. We made that call back in CES 2009 when we saw that LG when we were testing DLNA and they were selling that IPS screen. It's funny that now that's still one of the best screens on the market. You know, that's pretty interesting.
That was back when their Android was so primitive. We didn't even care.
Yeah.
It looked like the most earliest form of Android with the ugliest skin on it, and we didn't even care. We were just like so amazed at the fact that we were looking at a phone without glasses and it was 3D.
Yep, exactly.
And, they were doing some things back then that nobody else was doing. They still are, but I mean, that's another conversation.
Yeah.
All right, Matt, what phone are you using right now?
The 6S Plus.
Get it right. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. I can't deal with these nomenclatures anymore on these phones, man. They're just, you got Samsung has the Edge
S6 Edge Plus.
S6 Edge Plus.
Minus divided by multiply.
So. Yeah, you gotta look. Hey, when you go to order a phone or you go to tell somebody about a phone, and you gotta look up into your brain to try to figure out where.
Yeah, exactly.
And don't forget the Galaxy. The Galaxy 6S Edge Plus.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. I was doing an unboxing of the S6 Edge, not the Plus, but the S6 Edge, and I swear I accidentally said the word sex 4 or 5 times. So.
Sounds good to me. Absolutely. Yeah.
So
the iPhone it's funny that the iPhone is slowly starting to reel me in. It just doesn't have the catch yet. So I go to Best Buy and I touch one. I'm like, no, let me get away. I like it.
I will say this.
I like the new iPhones.
If you actually have you held the new one in your hand, like without a security thing on it? You know how you can't really hold it. Okay, yeah. I took my case off of this earlier today, and I was just like, man, this feels like so much more heftier. And I actually panicked because I sat on it, and I thought maybe I thought I bent it. You know, I'm just paranoid like that.
Yeah, so I laid it all over again.
I laid it on the table, and I was pushing on the edge of it like this, and it was wobbling. I was like, no way. There's no way it's bent. There was something wrong with my speaking case that I bought on Amazon for like $5. I guess one of the notches were like shaved off or like worn down, so it was making it wobble. Man, you should have seen me at work looking like this on the table, like
I know. Figure out if it's wobbling or not.
I know they didn't sell me a phone with that bent, and they told me it wasn't going to bend this time.
Yep.
All right, Matt. I gotta ask the question.
What's up?
3D Touch. Is it the same thing or anywhere close to the same thing as Android's long press function?
Not even close. I've had this argument with people. It's not the same thing. People.
Everybody.
It's not the same thing.
Matt's got phone in hand. Go ahead, Matt.
What he said.
Well, show it.
It's not the same thing.
No, it's not the same thing. I might have a hard time showing it because I have people texting me too. Hold on. But maybe I can show it on my email.
I'm going to lock it on you.
Okay. So, is it working?
Yeah, it's working. It's focusing.
I hate this camera. All right, there you go. So this is an email. If I press and hold it, I can do an action on it, like delete it or do whatever. But if I slightly push down, you can see it's bringing up a preview of that email. If I push harder, it now opened the email. That's what they mean by the whole 3D touch. It's really like 3 layers of interaction. And to me, that was the most undersold feature of the new phone. Even though they talked about it, they really didn't talk about the potential of it because I don't know why. I mean,
What I thought about personally when they first started talking about 3D touch, I was like, it's going to revolutionize the way people play racing games on mobile devices now, because now that becomes your gas pedal. You pressure, you speed up, you ease off, that slows the car down. That's the difference between a long press and 3D touch.
Yeah, when they showed the game demos, I was like, okay, I can see the use case for that. But I'm talking about just different things like using a camera, like,
Yeah.
and it's like they didn't even do that. Like right now, hold on. So right now, look, you got a camera reception. So right now with the camera, I tap here, I'm focusing on your face. I press and hold, now I'm doing an auto lock. What if I can push in and now I can disable HDR or do whatever? Like there's so many different things you can do with it that they haven't implemented yet. And honestly, I think that's probably one of their best innovations in a while, because you remember how big multi-touch was.
Yep.
Them being able to zoom in and out. I remember when the Nexus 1 couldn't even have it. Google had to remove multi-touch from the Nexus 1. Look at this.
That's right, because there was a patent war with that whole thing.
Yep, almost dropped it.
So I caught on to that one thing he did say when he talked about innovation. Now, before we go any further, understand that I work in the technology field. So it's very, very common, if you want to call it copying, you can. I don't care what kind of technology company you are. You're always going to go with what works, right? You know, the app permissions. Apple's doing that first. Now Android's picking up with Marshmallow. Nobody's talking about if Google copied, blah, 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 but it's expected, right? So this time around, I really have to commend Apple, because 3D Touch, they are, to my knowledge, they are the first ones to do it. And I guarantee it's going to be everywhere now. Every OEM out there is going to be doing something along the lines of 3D Touch.
Yeah,
I heard layer touch.
I heard LG's already working on something like that. It's supposed to be bringing it out in next year's LG G5.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me at all. So it's cool.
I think it's really nice. I mean, because if you think about it, there's only so much you can do by pressing and long pressing when it comes to touch interfaces. So for them to conceptualize this whole 3D touch thing, that makes things a lot different, because on the Apple Watch, you had Force Touch. All that really was just a way to access a secret menu, a menu option, without having a physical button. So what Force Touch allows Apple to do is now they can get rid of their home button. Eventually, they can get rid of their home button. Eventually, you know,
they won't.
Pressing down in the bottom corner, or maybe the whole screen. Like, imagine this whole screen coming down past the home button, and then just being a silver ring, but actual glass here, and you know the whole screen's through it. I don't know. I think at some point in time they might get rid of the home button. Who knows? But I think with Force Touch they could. I mean, you still have the power button, and you still have the volume button for like emergency resets. Yeah. So I mean, you could always still go like power button in this. So that's the only reason why I think they would keep the home button, is just because what if your phone locks up? But they don't want to admit that, because their phones never lock up.
Yeah. There you go.
But that's the only reason why I think they would even keep the home button, because a lot of Android phones besides Samsung don't even have a physical home button. They have capacitive buttons. No, as you know, those are software.
Hardware button. Sorry.
Button.
So button.
No, don't say capacitive. They're on screen, not capacitive.
The Samsung phone has the capacitive ones on the side, to the left and to the right of the power button.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah,
that's true. No, I prefer the on-screen buttons. Now, I had the Moto X 2013, and it was a 4.7-inch screen, so it was smaller anyway. All right, but I love the way, Yeah, Motorola.
3D touch for just 1 second. We're wrong. What screen? You can push it, and the whole screen clicks. You guys remember that phone?
Oh, everything you just said got cut out because your camera jumped.
Really? Yeah, that Blackberry phone, the entire screen clicked.
The Blackberry Storm.
Oh, the Storm.
Blackberry Storm.
Or Storm 2.
Yep.
3D touch, the first ones to do it.
So
That was
the
it.
on-screen,
The whole screen was a button.
Yeah.
the whole screen, the on-screen buttons. I'm on the side of the argument where on-screen actually gives you better screen real estate because whenever you need the full screen, the buttons disappear. And all you have to do is touch the screen to make them come back. But when you don't need them, they disappear. So therefore, like if you're watching video or playing games, you've got the entire screen.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about the hardware buttons at the bottom or the capacitive buttons at the bottom that are always there.
Yep.
The other side of that argument is, and this is where I disagree still, but the other side of that argument is that when you're on like your home screens or you're in an app like the browser or email client, the buttons are still there, and you could have more screen real estate to view verbiage or text or add another row of icons, say on your home screen.
Yeah.
So the reason my argument against that is Samsung's buttons are not on the screen, and they still have the same grid pattern as those that have on-screen buttons. So you still got the same number of apps, unless you install, say, Nova Launcher or something like that, where you can control the grid pattern.
Yeah.
Then you've pretty much got the same grid pattern from the manufacturer in general. And honestly, I tell people all the time they need to install Nova Launcher because you know how many people I've had to tell how to move from one phone to their new phone. The easiest way is to download Nova, set up the home screen, back it up, open your new phone, install Nova, now restore the backup you just did, boom, your phone's set up in less than 10 minutes.
Yep.
That is true.
So.
That is true. I like Android for the simple fact of even though when I was testing out the Note 5 and the S6 Edge Plus, I was able to pick and choose what I wanted to have on it. Like I was able to completely download all the Google apps and make it a Google experience phone, if you will, and everything saved and backed up. So when I went to the from the S6 Edge Plus to the Note 5, I literally just logged in and it sat there for about 20 minutes or so, and it just downloaded all my apps and everything came back up. That right there is just beautiful that it can do that.
Did that include the Google Launcher that did that?
Yeah, what happened is it'll download the app, but my phone is still using the Samsung launcher. But the next time I pressed home, it would ask me, do I want to use the Google launcher? And I just say, yeah, make that default. Yeah. And then that was it.
Was the Google launcher set up like when you last set it up?
Yeah.
Was that backed up with your Google account is what I'm asking.
It was backed up with my Google account, and it had my my icons where I had them before. If that's what you're asking.
Yes.
I believe Google, when it backs up your phone, it still takes all your application cache with it. So I believe, if I'm not mistaken, certain game saves and launcher setups are still moved over with everything else.
I think about the game. Yeah, the game saves my save too, but I think in the app data, I want to say it saves what position it was in on the locker, on the launcher,
Yeah.
Not the locker, the launcher.
Yep.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
All right, Matt. I still got another question about the iPhone
Yeah.
success in this 3D touch stuff. In my day-to-day at my job, I work with a lot of users who get a corporate iPhone. Okay, so we're not upgrading right now, but tell me, how do you get the general consumer to grasp onto this concept of 3D touch?
Think of it like using a right click on Windows.
Okay.
So just kind of, I would explain it to them like that. That's pretty much the easiest way to explain it. Like, like for example, the phone button. When you press on and do like a soft press on the phone button, the phone icon, it will bring up a list of your frequently contacted people. Same thing with text messages, it'll do that. Also, you know how you right click on a link on a web page and you can go to open a new tab or open a new window?
Yeah.
If you do that in a browser on an iPhone, if you do a soft press on a link within a page, it would bring up a preview. So something is kind of similar to a right click. And also, I would probably just I would probably just tell them to touch everywhere, like just to figure it out, because there's all kinds of different shortcuts and different areas that I'm finding every day. I just found that you can force touch on the Shazam app, drag your finger up, and just it'll start listening right away, like immediately. Back in the day, you used to have to hit Shazam, let it open, boot, then tap it, then it'll tell you it's listening, and then it'll find the song and then do whatever. Now I literally just put Shazam on my home screen. I just press hold, throw my finger up, and it starts listening. It takes like 2 seconds.
So I have the reading and comprehension of a 7-year-old. So this is what I want to see. I want to be reading something, and if there's text on the screen, I want to 3D touch on text and get the definition. Boom. Just a little box that pops up. Here's a definition of this word. It's like, oh, and then just keep on reading through the sentence.
Yep. That's something like that is something that can be implemented so easy. It probably is going to come out with a jailbreak tweet, but that's something that can be implemented so easy, and Apple is probably never going to do it. But that right there would be convenient, especially on like ebooks and on a web page or just whatever.
Yep.
And because right now you can tap and it'll highlight the word, and then it'll pop up with cut or copy, define. You can hit define, and then it'll bring up another window that'll give you the definition. But in Devin's example, you would just force touch on the word, it would auto fit to the word, and it'll pop up a little window of the definition. You let go, and then you keep reading. Like that. That's perfect.
Yep. That's great implementation of it right there. I'm afraid I'm honestly thinking that the general consumer isn't going to buy the 6S because of 3D touch, and that might.
They're going to buy it because of the camera.
Is the camera better than the 6?
Technical tests online have proved that it's not better.
What do your tests show?
That it's better. But I'm
well,
not.
Here's the thing. So I got to disagree. I wouldn't say a general consumer is looking for a camera. I would say the general consumer is looking for an iPhone.
I agree with it.
The general consumer is looking for an iPhone because of its pickup and easy to use kind of idea. But I don't know where I heard this from, but I like to say I came up with the saying. The saying goes as follows: the best camera ever is the one you have on you. And if you have a phone which is always on you, that is the only camera you have. So when you're living your life and you got kids or family, or you're going to events and you don't want to have to spend another $500-600 on a dedicated camera, the one that you have on you is the best camera you have. And if the iPhone takes the best pictures, it's been proven year after year that it does. Now with some challenge of some Samsung phones that have come out that have been pretty good too. But when it comes to image processing, everything, the iPhone has hands down the best camera, front-facing camera too. And a lot of consumers, they want that. They want a phone that has a lot of apps, and they want a phone that has a great camera. And Apple just so happens to have all that on their iPhone. And developers are going to keep developing for them first because of the momentum that they already have anyway. So that's never going to stop.
And continuity and everything. Yeah, I mean, if you're a mobile developer and you're not developing for iPhone, you might want to think about what you're doing.
Adam was like,
You got to do both.
I'm staring at Adam like he can see me, you know.
Yeah. Out loud.
Yeah, so.
All right.
Yeah, but you're right, the momentum. So
let's switch gears a little bit. The Nexus events took place and the Microsoft events took place. Which one you want to talk about first?
Microsoft.
Yeah, Microsoft.
All right.
Yep.
Devin, go.
All right. So one of the things I'm looking at is the Surface Book. Not because they want to be a MacBook competitor and I want anything other than the MacBook that's kind of comparable. I'm more excited as a PC gamer for one. I'm more excited for, from what I'm understanding, the external GPU is built into the keyboard, right? So you have your tablet on the top that has its own internal GPU, and then you attach a keyboard to it. That base has its own extended GPU in it. So I'm thinking of companies like, well, NVIDIA are the ones that already have the chip in it, like AMD. Are they going to start selling aftermarket keyboards with bigger GPUs to start catering to the gamers, right? So I'm thinking about, I'm on Amazon, I'm searching for AMD keyboards and all these different models of keyboards, just like video cards. They're selling those you know, to fit right in with that tablet to become the next gaming machine. So I'm more excited off of a hypothetical rather than the device itself, because at the end of the day, it's just an expensive Windows machine.
So it's the potential that you're excited about.
Yeah, exactly, right? Exactly.
I think
if Microsoft's going to even accept that, you know, so.
I think
I didn't even realize that the processor was in the keyboard.
Yeah, it's in the keyboard. It's similar to how the transformer worked, where there's a battery in the keyboard and a battery in the tablet.
Yep.
Where, you know, you plug it up to the keyboard and you get additional, you know, 6-7 hours of battery life, that kind of thing. I think that's pretty cool. Microsoft blew me away with their presentation, and the guy who was presenting, did y'all see the presentation?
Yeah.
The guy who was presenting was like the most realistic presenter ever.
Yeah.
Because he
hands
was just
down one of the best events I watched.
It wasn't even that great. I felt like I was.
He wasn't boring. He
wasn't boring. He was talking. Yeah,
he
wasn't reading off a monitor or teleprompter.
Exactly. So what got me about him? He's not a presenter. He's not a good presenter. He
wasn't
talking about.
He wasn't a good presenter, but that was a good presentation. That's
exactly. If you have something that you know everything about from beginning to end, processing or the process of creating, manufacturing, whatever it may be, if you get on stage and talk about it, you're going to blow everybody away, and that's what he did. He did his homework.
And what I liked about him is you could see the excitement in his face and his enthusiasm about it, but he the way his delivery was really good, because he was like, you know, we all have one of these. I think he had like the Lumia 950, maybe the XL in his hand. He's like, we all have one of these, and we do a lot of work on them, but, you know, when we're at home, we're at home. We don't want to be connected to work, or we don't want to be connected. And he was like, this screen can come on and show me what I need to know without even turning on, and I'm using 0% battery life.
Yep.
So when I want to see something, I pull it out of my pocket and I look and I put it away. I don't have to unlock my phone, go into the email app, preview the email, and then decide if I want to look at it or not. Or, you know, I'm not looking at a full 5-line alert that's telling me what the email is. I can quickly see, okay, nope, not even gonna look at it, and I'm using 0% battery life. And that's exactly, yeah. But see, the active display for that it was borrowed from the whole Motorola thing, but in his implementation, he's claiming it uses 0% battery life. It's just turning on those little pixels to show you what you need to use. Yep. Now, I don't know what they did in the software end to do something better than Motorola, but
no, it's just the OLED screen.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the difference between the OLED versus an LCD.
It's just a light bright. It's not that innovative.
I've never heard that comparison before.
It's just a light bright. That's all it is.
That's all it is.
It's just a light bright.
You know? But hey, did you see the dock that they have for the Lumia 950 and the 950 XL?
The Motorola Atrix. I cannot think of what that is.
Yeah.
But that's what that reminds me of.
Yeah.
You dock it and you get a full Windows machine experience.
Did you get a full Windows experience with the Atrix though? I mean,
it wasn't
even a full Android.
It was
like a full Android experience.
It was like using what was it, based off Linux, right?
Yeah, it was more like a Linux distro. That's what it looked like. It had a start menu or whatever. It had everything.
Okay, that was before Android tablets really became popular, right? And it didn't look like what an Android tablet looks like today.
No.
This was more of a Linux distro. It was more of a desktop environment. That's what it looked like. When you docked the phone, it was a totally different X session that created a desktop environment.
I actually think if that came out now, like let's say Microsoft came out with a laptop, maybe that Surface Book, and had like maybe you plug it up with a USB-C cable or something, and then it turns you know. I actually think that'll be pretty successful. I like the idea of the fact that they put so much horsepower in these phones. Not this phone. This is no horsepower compared to Android and Microsoft. But they put so much horsepower in these phones, and we're just using them in our pocket on this little screen. It's not really tapping into the potential of it. And it took Microsoft. I mean, not really Microsoft, but because you know, like you said, the Atrix was first with that and the fingerprint reader. But you plug this up to imagine just having this as your device and your work computer. Like, you could get away with that. You could genuinely get away with that. if you're if let's say you're in like sales or something, and you may not need like too much like software. You just need maybe all your software is web based.
Here's kind of the problem with that, though.
Yeah.
You still have to carry around 2 devices.
No, you don't.
If you're going to be in sales, you can use your phone as your device that keeps all your information on it and plug it up using Continuum to a laptop. But you gotta have that laptop to plug it up into.
You're talking about in that scenario. Yeah, yeah. I'm thinking about more of just having a work phone and coming into and sitting at your desk, and you're literally plugging it up to that little dock, the Continuum dock, and it's going to your wireless keyboard and mouse and your monitor, and you're working.
Yep.
And then when you leave and go home, you get something comes up and you need to work. You have that same setup, which probably costs a total of $300.
Okay, so I can add some professional experience into this part of the conversation. You assign somebody a phone that can do this in a corporate environment. It makes sense that you could then just put that Continuum dock on their desk, but those who are going to get a phone in a corporate environment are going to be walking around and needing to do work as well. So are you gonna put multiple Continuum docks in conference rooms and collaboration spaces for them to just plug into and extra monitors? What would be cheaper? Give them a laptop and a corporate phone, or put all these random Continuum docks in conference rooms that no one's using until a meeting's called, and then everybody gets a Lumia 950 to plug it up into to do their work on?
I think it's cheaper because you're already buying them a $600 phone, and then you're probably buying them another $1,200 laptop.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's probably about a 4 for 1. You can get 4 docks for 1 laptop. You know.
How much did they say pricing on the Continuum dock and I missed it?
No, it's still up for pre-order, but it can't be more than 150. It can't be more than maybe 150. You know,
I hope not.
It can't be. I don't
They
see.
price their keyboards like 150.
Yeah,
So the docks have got to be more than that.
Maybe 179.
I'm not 100% sure. I honestly didn't hear if they said a price or not. But of that Microsoft show, 2 parts got my attention the most, more than anything. That HoloLens X-ray demonstration that they had.
Yeah, that's gonna be pretty good.
I know that was just like alpha or maybe beta by now, but that looked awesome.
Can't do it. I can't do anything VR. I was doing a little VR thing, and we were doing a roller coaster or whatever. I almost did a backflip.
You do realize that this isn't like the true cover your eyes completely VR. This is augmented. You can see through it all, augmented holographics in your environment. So what people people get nauseous when using VR because there's not a true sense of a 3D there. Mm-hmm. And their head gets all screwy because they think they're moving because their eyes are moving, but their head isn't.
Mm-hmm.
When you're looking through with the HoloLens, there's no reason to get that nauseous feeling because you're still seeing your environment around you with the augmented reality on top of it, and that's what I love the concept of augmented reality. That's really when you see the doctors or say mechanics using software like this, they could totally their customers would probably not. They would save face. Say mechanics, they would save face by showing them this is what we're going to do to your car. Boom, 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 and here's why it costs this much. And they won't. This bill, these random things on the bill at the mechanics. I totally feel like this HoloLens part is going to make the corporate world. Now it's going to probably take 5, 6, 7 more years to get there.
It's funny you said doctor at first because I was like, I don't want a doctor to come up to me and be like, okay, listen, here's a simulation of what we're going to do to your stomach. We're going to cut this. I'm like, nah, I don't want to do it at all.
Or he just comes in and he just walks in the room and just looks at you. It's like we got the goggles on. He's just like this, and he's like, doesn't look good.
Doesn't look good. Yeah, I like the thing they show with Minecraft and everything, where he was using his hands and building the environment using a HoloLens. It was pretty sweet.
Yeah, when I saw that, I was thinking more about people who are in architects and
AutoCAD and
just designing stuff. Like that's just
First thing that came to mind, Tony Stark.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
And Jarvis. That's the first thing that came to mind.
It's a shame it's 2015 and we're finally doing stuff like Minority Report.
Yeah.
Like
But it'll work.
Sitting there and just grabbing stuff around and doing all this.
Yep.
All right.
So
anything more you want to add about the Microsoft event?
Yep.
Nothing besides their phones are going to fail because they haven't gotten any carrier support and they're thinking they're like Google and they're going to sell them unlocked only, and they still don't have developer support. So
I don't know what I mean. Microsoft has, as far as the enterprise or big business, they have so much of that market. I don't understand why their phones fail. I don't understand why companies are using a Microsoft ecosystem, why they're not walking around with Windows phones that just directly integrate with their environment.
because they're still walking around with iPads for no reason.
We got a comment here from I'm gonna mess that name up. Sorry, Tuvuche. He says that it would cost less to get the Continuum dock and a display than give all their employees a Lumia phone. It would cost so much less than buying someone a phone and a laptop. Okay, you guys win me over on this conversation.
Tuvuche, yes. Good
Not
job.
like I do it every day, but I think it would be a scenario where you would have to buy multiple to one employee, as opposed to just one laptop and one phone, which you would give them now. You'd have to give them one phone and multiple Continuum docks and multiple monitors,
Right.
including ones that they would take home, because if they wanted to do work off-site, they would need a dock and a monitor off-site as well. I don't know.
That's when we get into the whole, and that's another conversation, but that's when you get into the whole virtualization and everything. If you have a desktop at home, you'll be using a VDI session somewhere, so there's always a way around
There's always
that.
a solution for that, isn't there?
Yeah.
All right.
So,
I think overall the ability to really tap into the power of a smartphone. You know, most people use their phone for emails and all that basic stuff anyway, but being able to plug it up to a full keyboard and mouse and monitor and use Excel, Word, and Outlook and all that things should be pretty beneficial, especially in a corporate environment.
yeah. Agreed. 100% agree.
All right, let's end on the topic of. I want to talk about Nexus phones, but I also want to talk about Verizon for a minute.
Yeah.
So Verizon's made some choices here that have personally, and I think the general consumers need to know this. Anybody watching this, if you don't know, you need to know this. If you have been on the grandfathered plan for unlimited data on Verizon since I think it was July 2012, that they cut that and made it unavailable. But if you're still grandfathered in, your bill's about to go up, buddy. Next month, I think the November 15th, somewhere around in there, they're going to announce that your unlimited plan will now cost $20 extra.
That's a good deal.
Yeah, if you use, let's say, at least 10 gigs.
Yeah, if you use 10 gigs. But most people who are still on unlimited, they know what they're doing.
Oh, yeah.
Take that back.
Because
I do not.
if you are on unlimited in the year 2015, you have tried to upgrade your phone within the last couple years, and you have been told by Verizon that if you upgrade, you're going to lose your plan unless you pay $650 for this phone.
I'm at 8.78 gigs right now, and my plan ends in 2 days. Last month I was at 13 gigs.
You got a wireless connection coming out of your eyeballs everywhere you go. How are you using 8 gigs?
Yeah, that's no way.
I don't use wireless at work. Not on my personal phone.
See,
okay.
I can't.
Valid. Okay.
And I stream music and podcasts in the car all the time.
So then that's the reason why I like T-Mobile, because if I stream my music, I do it through Google Play, and they don't hit your data for Google Play.
I've got okay, so I also have a corporate discount, so mine's only going to be it's only going to go up like $16 as opposed to $20. But
That's
even
true.
for the full $20, that's $50. I'm still happy. To get 10.
Isn't that bad?
13,
Isn't that bad that they are charging you more and you're happy?
No, that's not.
That-
I'm still happy that I have unlimited, and they didn't just say, okay, you're done. I'm done with you. They could have said that, right? And that's what they're trying to do. I bet they're probably raising it until these unlimited users say, okay, I'm out. Peace.
They're slowly going. They're going to raise it more and more because what's happening is right now with you being on unlimited and you having an upgrade in the last couple years, you've had to pay full price for the phone or you have to get a new plan or whatever like that. But now that you're paying the $20 more as of November, you can upgrade your phone now under contract and keep
not under contract. They're not going to sign a new contract, but they let you finance it.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right. They let you do the device payment agreement. That's what they call it now. They don't do Edge anymore. They call it the device payment agreement.
Yeah.
But I think that's still a good deal because I did the math, and you would have to be using. You said about 10 gigs. I think it's somewhere around 14 or their 16 gigabyte plan, I believe. Right? They have a 16 gigabyte plan or 14. They have a 14 or 16 gigabyte plan.
Extra large plan is like 12 gigs, and it's like $110.
Okay, so I think it's a 12
for one line.
Shared.
That's shared. Yeah.
So if you went to Verizon by yourself and got a 12 or 16 gig plan, whichever one you said, how much is it going to cost you a month?
All right, I got it right here. The small 1 gig is $30. The medium 3 gig is $45. The large 6 gig is $60. The extra large 12 gig was $80. Okay, I was off there. Then now they have a new one. I didn't know they had the extra large 18 gig for $100. So I would have to go into the 12 gig just to cover my phone, and then my wife has a phone. She uses less than 2 gigs.
Is that including your mobile plan? Is that including your minutes and everything else,
or is that just
the data tackle?
Yeah, that's everything included, but they charge you a line access fee for your device. So if you don't do the Edge payment plan, it's like $40. If you do the Edge payment plan, sorry, not Edge, the device payment agreement, it's like $25, $20 or something.
$20 line access fee for any phone on your line.
Yeah, $20 access fee, and then your phone price. So, like, for example, iPhone 6, what's a 16 gig? I think iPhone 6 has 16 gig is like $22 a month and some change. So that's $22 a month plus $42 a month plus the what you said it was like $110 or $100 for 6 gigs.
No, 6 gigs is 60, 12 gigs is 80, 18 gigs is 100.
All right, so for 18 gigs, you'll be paying $142 a month.
What you need to do is come to T-Mobile where your data does not work on one side of your couch and save you some money. That's what you need to do.
Oh wait, so I don't know what part of this town you live in, but T-Mobile where I live is non-existent.
So I'm not too far from you, and it's perfect. Here, actually, the places I needed, T-Mobile is perfect. That's the only reason why I'm with it.
My house and my work, no signal on T-Mobile. Where else would I have to get a? I mean, seriously.
Well, T-Mobile's gotten better with business with building penetration. I mean, I want to say that Devin has this S6 that has that new band that T-Mobile has.
Is it? Not the Cat 6, is it?
It's band 10, I think, band 10 or something like that. It's a new band that they've been the 700 megahertz frequency, whatever that they've been working on. The iPhone 6s and his phone, the S6, has that band.
Well, hold on, Devin. What phone did you have before this phone?
That's a good question.
Yeah, the 5, didn't you?
I had the Nexus 5, yeah.
Was it on T-Mobile?
Yes, and that one was terrible.
Okay, so in the places where it was terrible, the S6 does well.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Actually, I noticed some subtle changes with it. Like this phone supports 5 gigahertz wireless, so I'm getting like even wireless speeds are a heck of a lot faster. So.
Yeah, that's true. That one has wireless AC in it too. Yeah. Yep.
So there's a possibility that the phone I was using was the problem. I tried the T-Mobile. I tried it on the OnePlus One, and I tried it on the Huawei AscendMate 2. And both of those phones are last year's phones. What was that? July and August time frame. They probably didn't have these T-Mobile bands you're talking about, Matt.
No, they didn't. This is pretty recent for them to come out with this. The new Nexus 5X and the 6P have it, and in November I'll be testing out Google Fi. So I can't wait for that. Dang, that's like 3 weeks away before I have my phone.
Now Project Fi is off of T-Mobile and Sprint towers, right?
Yep.
Yes.
So you may as well just say it's T-Mobile towers, because Sprint is terrible here. Sprint is terrible.
No, Sprint's not that bad.
Okay.
I know a couple people on Sprint that are pulling speeds faster than Verizon here in where we are.
Wow.
Are those people standing in a Sprint store at the same time they're doing that?
No, they're
Outside.
walking around. They're walking around the main streets.
In the Sprint parking lot.
You know what I think? I think that everybody around here thinks that Sprint is terrible, and the few people who actually just have it are getting like the best speeds ever because nobody's using it.
I haven't tried Sprint personally. I take that back. I did try Sprint on the LG Flex, the first Flex, and at work downtown, outside of work, I should say, out in the open air, it was perfect 4G Sparks. It was a Spark.
Yeah, Spark. That's
no problem whatsoever. Now, Tuvuche wants us to know that it is the 700 megahertz band that you were trying to recall, Matt.
Yep, 700. Yep.
Thanks for that.
Thanks, man.
700. I like
700.
700.
Yep.
All right, so I need to try T-Mobile with, maybe I can get a hold of a OnePlus 2, or I don't even really want to test that phone. OnePlus 2?
I want to test it. I just don't want to. I don't want to because I know that I want to test out the dual SIM just to say I did. You know, it has two SIM card slots, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to like get a SIM card from AT&T and then like T-Mobile or something and just walk around and just be that guy. Just see what happens. See how I use it. Like let people call me from both and just. I wish more phones did that, but I think that if Project Fi proves anything, is that at some point we should be able to buy a phone with a universal SIM that has the carrier data installed on that SIM, and literally we should be able to jump network simultaneously without even noticing it. And I will pay Verizon prices, maybe even a little bit more, maybe even a little bit more for that functionality, because Verizon has the best coverage hands down nationwide. Nobody can dispute that. But there are some places where I've been and like Sprint has service but Verizon doesn't, or AT&T has service and Verizon doesn't, and it's not really a place you would care about, but it makes you think, why isn't everybody working together? Because everybody can still get money, everybody can still get paid. These second tier carriers, these prepaid carriers, they've proven that everybody's going over to those carriers, Metro PCS and Page Plus and Cricket and all this stuff. But the same people are getting paid. Sprint, Verizon, AT&T, they're all getting paid. Simple. What's the other one? Straight Talk.
Straight Talk. Yeah.
The big carriers are still getting paid. Why not just?
The small ones are renting it from the big carriers, so you're just using the big carriers. Okay, so LTE is going to be the end of the CDMA life. That's what LTE is supposed to do, right? Evolve CDMA. It'll be out of the bag. Will GSM go away?
No. The GSM, the technology is still.
At the end of the day, there's definitely going to be a separation. You're going to have some sort of data technology, but they're going to have to channel it to where everybody's going to get their own lane so they can continue making their own money. It may kill LTE, it may be something else, but they're still going to be separated in some way.
And the FCC, if they do their job, that's exactly how it's going to happen.
Yeah, exactly.
And also, I think what's going to happen is maybe about 3 years from now, I predict that if you are inside of a building or home, any type of structure, you're going to be making calls via Wi-Fi, no matter what carrier you're on. And then because building penetration has gotten to the point where it's pointless to even try. And
it's not even necessary. Yeah.
It's not even necessary. And what I've noticed is that as technology has advanced, architecture around technology hasn't advanced. You don't even to this day. Even right now, I just said 2 to 3 years from now, we're going to be making calls via Wi-Fi in whatever building we're in. Architects aren't even thinking about Wi-Fi when they build these buildings. They're not thinking about that. They're thinking about structural and making sure this fire code and all that stuff. But at some point in time, there's going to come a point where they're installing repeaters, and they're installing certain repeaters in certain angles and spots to make sure that that building gets complete coverage of Wi-Fi, so that calls can go through, communications can go through, depending on if it's a corporate building and things like that.
So now think about it. When you start thinking about natural disasters and stuff like that, that may actually end up becoming a communication standard.
You admit Google already has.
There's going to be a wireless access point up somewhere during a natural disaster. People are still going to need to be able to make calls.
Yep, Google already has the technology to tell you if a store is crowded this holiday season.
Yep.
So imagine if there's a natural disaster, you will know, a firefighter will know right away if there's somebody in that building. They won't know for sure because their phone could be off or whatever, but they will have an idea that somebody's in that building, or something pinged 15 minutes ago, or they can figure stuff out. They can find people on 5th floor. There's so many possibilities with that I think that, like I said, in a couple years, we don't need to be making calls through a cellular signal inside of a building anymore.
Yeah.
Leave that for when I'm on a highway, I'm driving, or I'm at an airport. Not even an airport, that's a building. Wi-Fi again. But you know what I mean.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, guys, we've wrapped up. We're past the hour. I wanted to close it off. A lot of people close it off with app picks or something like that. But I thought that for our first episode, for our viewers, they might want to get to know us better by knowing what is the first 2 apps you install on your phone. I'll go first. Y'all think about it. I'll go first.
Okay.
The first 2 apps I install on my phone, whether it's a review device or it's a personal phone, is Nova Launcher. And now if it's a review device, I use the manufacturer, the OEM's launcher, for so long to get a feel for it. But I've used enough Samsungs and LGs. I've already got a feel for them, and I already know Huawei I don't like. So I pretty much know I'm going to fall back on Nova. The second one I always install no matter what is an app that took the place. Well, it didn't take the place, but it's a really close to what used to be the Google the Google blogging app. It's called G-Reader. It used to be, you remember Google Reader?
I remember that, yeah.
So the one I downloaded in its place when it went offline is called G-Reader Pro, and it only costs a couple of dollars, and it was well worth it because they continue to support it over the years, and it works just like Google Reader used to work. But I guess it is what that would have been today. I tried the other one that everybody went to in its place called Feedly, but
Feedly's good.
I couldn't get the feel for Feedly, but when I found G-Reader, it's like it's like no hiccup whatsoever. You already know Google Reader, so just go straight to G-Reader.
Yep.
Those are the first 2 apps I always install. Matt?
Mine kind of bounces in between 3. I use 1Password. That's a password app that stores all your stuff. And whenever you go to a website, you just tap it and it populates your password. And that works as cross-platform, so it's Mac, Android, Windows, iOS. Next is some sort of Reddit app. If it's iOS, I use Alien Blue. If it's Android, I use, I think, Bacon Reader. And my other Bacon Reader, yeah. And my honorable mention, even though you said 2 only, would be there's an app called Deliveries, and it's a shipment app. We got a lot of review products coming in and different things I order offline or things I sell on eBay. You add the tracking information, it automatically populates everything and it tracks it for you and gives you updates every day of where that package is. So I use that a lot. But those are my favorite apps, ones I download every day.
What you got, Devin?
Me. So the first thing I do anytime I get a phone is customize it. Right, that's the number one thing. And I actually didn't notice this until now. My first 2 apps are always Zedge and PixSpeed wallpapers. Every single phone I get, I download 2 wallpaper apps. Yep. Because the first thing I want is that one wallpaper, and then once I get the wallpaper set up, I end up going back to just the stock wallpaper because it's crisp. Every time.
Hey, Devin, is your first wallpaper? Is it space?
It's space.
It's space.
Space. My wallpaper at work is space. I don't know what it is. I want to show the colors. Look how beautiful this looks. And then it becomes something stupid, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go back to one of the stock wallpapers. So
he always has some. He always has some abstract picture of Earth.
Yep. Yep.
I'm like,
fake Earth.
You don't care about any other planets? Nope.
No. Just the one we live on. So
I'll admit, I'm with you, Devin. Zedge is one of my first ones. Not necessarily my first or my second, but it's definitely in the first 5.
Yeah. Yeah.
I always set up my sounds to be the same across, no matter what phone I'm using, so that I recognize different people's telephone calls, custom ringtones, and then the custom app notifications that I set up across. No matter what phone it is, I set the same ringtones, I set the same app notifications.
I'm extremely jealous of you guys using Zedge, because on Android, when you use Zedge, you can use it. On iOS, when you use Zedge, it tells you to go to the website.
So basically, you just download a shortcut.
So you downloaded Zedge, and it says to use this app, you must first have Android?
You download an app. You pick out what you want. It saves it to, your username, and you go to the website. You go to the website, you then download the ringtone or wallpaper you want, then you open it up in iTunes, and then it renames it to an M4A file, and then you sync it with your iTunes, with your iPhone, via
I don't want to wallpaper that bad. I'm
Just
good.
go to Google Images and download the paper you want.
I'm telling you, that's how Zedge works with ringtones. I'm pretty sure with the wallpapers you can probably press and hold and save it, but nope, that's it.
Nope, don't want it that bad.
We can end on that note.
All right, I appreciate everybody hanging out with us. We enjoyed this first go round. Hopefully we'll be able to get another one off in the next couple of weeks. I just want to remind everybody that I can be found on social media either at BaldyPal or at my website, androidanthem.com. Matt, remind everybody where you're at.
You can find me on YouTube at www. I don't know why I said that. YouTube.com/Gadget University. Also, you can catch me on Instagram, and that is my Instagram username is Toestrong, TOESTRONG.
Yep.
Devin, you want anybody to find you?
I don't own a business because I'm too lazy, so you can just find me on Facebook, Devin Derrickson, and Google Plus, Devin Derrickson. That's all I got for you. I'm sorry.
All good, man. All good. All right, guys. Next podcast I'll be able to talk about some of the most recent reviews I've got going down right now, and hopefully Motorola's shipping is delayed, but I'm hoping to get a 3rd Gen Moto X in my hands here soon. So.
I think the next show should be a little bit more interesting. I should have my Nexus 6P.
Oh, that'd be a good one. And
128.
I might have a special guest to join us to talk about her experience with the Nexus 6P as well.
Cool.
All right,
Awesome.
guys. Y'all have a good one. Thanks, everybody.
All right, you too.
All right.
Thanks. Thanks.
Peace out.